Hi, I'm Councilman Joe Jones in the city of Cleveland, representing the Lee Harvard Ward 1 area. I'm honored to have the opportunity to endorse Basheer Jones for the next mayor of the city of Cleveland. And the reason why that endorsement is being made at this day and this time is the city of Cleveland is at the precipice of being able to become a great city or move in the same direction it is right now. We have to start looking at neighborhoods first. So if we invest in downtown city of Cleveland, or we invest in University Circle, or we invest in Little Italy, or we invest on the west side, we should also equally be investing in all of our neighborhoods. There should not be just two Clevelands, one that get resources and the other part that does not get it. So when it comes to life quality issues, when it comes to issues of safety and security, we need a mayor that's going to make sure that we have the resources and the assets on the ground to make sure that our citizens are safe. The second issue, which is very important, that has not been remedied and has been an ongoing problem in the city of Cleveland, is education. A city that fails to educate its young people fails itself in the future. And so we need a mayor that's going to make education a priority. If we're going to be serious about improving and bringing citizens back to the city of Cleveland, we must get the educational system right. And that's one of the reasons why I'm endorsing Basheer Jones as the next mayor of the city of Cleveland. And when it comes to infrastructure and resources, we need to be able to have good, strong streets. We need to have safe streets, and we need to have services coming from the city of Cleveland to stabilize our housing markets and to be able, at the end of the day, to say that we're servicing all of our citizens in the city of Cleveland, and we're bringing all of the city together, both east side and the west side. So I'm honored to have this opportunity to endorse you, Basheer Jones, and I'm going to be working very hard to make sure that you become our next mayor.
Good morning. On behalf of the clergy who are assembled here today, we're going to have one of the pastors of Ward 7 and one of our theologian for all clergy in the city of Cleveland and beyond, Dr. William Myers.
Thank you very much, Pastor Phillips, to Councilman Jones, and our candidate for mayor, Basheer Jones. I am Dr. William H. Myers, that's spelled M-Y-E-R-S. I am pastor of New Mount Zion Baptist Church, the first church built from the ground after the riots in Ward 7. I am professor of New Testament and Black Church Studies at Ashland Theological Seminary and founded the McCreary Center for African American Religious Studies, which is also in Ward 7. And we have trained and educated pastors throughout Northeast Ohio in my tenure at Ashland for 40 years. I came to and been asked to represent pastors, some of whom are here and ministers, and some of whom are not. But particularly for me in Ward 7, who worked with Fannie Lewis for 40 years, I looked for someone that could come and take up the baton and the mantle of the kind of work that she did in our community. And Basheer Jones was the young man that came to me, and I was one of the first to come out to support him for councilman. I've been knowing this young man from when he was younger, and now when he was playing basketball in my church yard with my son and other family members and other members of the church for a long time. It is time. The church has always been involved in the movement of any community and any city and any state. We have a long history of involvement in that. And it is time now for us to move forward and not backwards, to look forward and not back. We need young people. This is why I supported Chantel Brown for the Congress. We need some young people of a new generation to take the mantle and run with this thing.
Yes, sir.
And we need to move beyond certain divisions in our mind and in our community and come together fully as a community. You know, when Martin Luther King was leading the civil rights movement, he sent out a call for pastors of all religions to come south and to help him in this movement for our people. I am a Trinitarian, but a Unitarian. James Joseph Reed came there and lost his life. He did not live to be 40, just like Martin did not live to be 40. Also, Abraham Joshua Heschel, a Jewish rabbi, came. We were joined together for the rights of all people.
That's right. Yes, sir.
This young man has fought for the rights of all people, and that's why I am supporting him. Yes, as Councilman Joe Jones has just said, we need a mayor that is going to be for all neighborhoods,
That's right.
east and west, black and white, no matter what religious church, synagogue, or whatever that one is a part of. We need one that is going to represent all people. I find that in Basheer Jones, and that is why I am here today as one of the lead pastors in Ward 7, supporting him to be our next mayor. God bless you and God keep you.
We also have the president of the Black Contractors, who's always standing with the clergy, President Norm Edwards.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I mean, good morning. Still morning, right? I'm standing here today. And we have endorsed Basheer Jones for mayor of the Black Contractors Group. He will fight for the community, both communities, black, white, whatever color. We have been denied for a long time. The black communities have been denied of construction dollars. We've been denied with the school system. It's time for a change. Basheer is the breath of fresh air that the city of Cleveland needs, and we know he will take us to the next level. We need somebody that understands. He's young, he's fresh, and he will get us to where we need to go.
Yes.
The youth in the streets can relate. The middle-aged people, the old people can relate. And the relation is that we need the change. The city of Cleveland needs to change the direction. We need to build up our east side, like Councilman Jones said, the same as the west side is built up. We need to split the money evenly, and we have been abused on the east side. Our tax dollars are not split evenly. I have faith, and that's why I'm standing behind him 1,000%, that he will do the right thing for all our communities. Thank you.
First and foremost, we thank God for another day of life. We thank God for the opportunity to be here. And if you're going to stand with anyone, you need to stand with those who have a direct connection to God, who talk to him often. And one of the greatest moments of my life is to be able to receive an endorsement from men and women who raised me. I'm not new to this community. As Pastor Meyer said, I would beat his son in basketball. You didn't say that, did you, Pastor? He's too big for me. Billy over there, man. But You know, his son actually was my big brother. We would play basketball in the back of the church, and that's where we found refuge. That's where we found safety. Pastor Myers didn't know that my family was starving when he offered me some food, but he just did it because that is showing what you believe and not just saying what you believe. We understand that faith is about action, and love is a verb. Love is not about what you say, but it's about what you do. And these amazing men and women who stand here today are those who have shown faith in this community. And I believe, even though there's some who will say you have to have a separation, we recognize that there is no true separation because the one that created all of it don't need no votes, don't go up for no election. And that's the one that we serve. I want to say about this gentleman right here, Councilman Joe Jones. Some years ago, before I even thought about running for office, I was in Luke Easter Park. And he walked up to me, and he said something to me that really stayed with me, where he took the time, he could have been doing anything else, he took the time to speak life into me and to say that you are the next generation that this city needs. Now, you know, one of the issues that we have in our city is the lack of succession planning. We don't build the bridges between the elders and the youth, but we recognize that if a city is going to be successful, the elders and the youth must work together. They must be on the same page. And I know and I recognize that if we are not successful, it's only because we're not working together. So Joe, he pulled me to the side and he spoke life into me, and I'll never forget that. And I looked up in 2017, and he was across the table as councilman, and I humbly sat there as the lesser of the Joneses. And I watched him for the past 4 years be a fighter. Ward 1, you are lucky to have Joe Jones as your council person. I mean, he is a fighter. He's a fighter, and not just a fighter when the cameras are on, but I'm talking about a fighter in the back rooms. When usually, because there's no cameras, there's people who, unfortunately, so easily sell our community out. So easily say, you know what, just give the black community the crumb, and you can have the rest of the pie. And Joe, I appreciate you for being a fighter. And not only are we going to win this election as mayor, but you're going to win this election as the councilman here in Ward 1. And we're going to be standing with you, and we're going to be fighting with you, brother. In closing, I want to say to every pastor, to every religious leader, but for the pastors especially who are standing here with me, I thank you so much. And the reason why I want to say thank you is because, unfortunately, in the words of Dr. King, he said something very beautiful, that it comes a time when silence is betrayal. It comes a time when being on the fence is as bad as betraying your community. You got to make a decision in this race. Many of us, we made the decision to support Chantel because we recognize the work that she was doing in this community. You can't be silent in this race. You must speak up, you must speak out, and you must recognize that in order for this city to get better, black people must do better in this city. Black people must do better. And I want to say to my friends on the west side and friends of other communities, you may say, well, Basheer, what about us? Recognize that if you want to deal with crime, we're going to deal with crime and we're going to decrease crime, but we're going to do it in a different way. Decreasing crime is not about adding so many more police. Don't get me wrong. We're going to make sure that Ward 1 and other wards on the east side are properly staffed with police who are not only monitoring our community, but are working with the council members, working with the leaders, working with the community. This is proactive. We got to be proactive in how we deal with safety. But another thing in how we deal with safety is we make sure that we do more developments on the east side of Cleveland, giving more jobs, giving more opportunities. And as I told to Councilman Joe Jones, Ward 1 will be the first place that we bring a development to on the east side of Cleveland. And I want you to know this. Not only is it important, $514 million has come to the city. The federal government has given us, Cleveland is the second largest allocation in the country for these federal dollars. But you and I both know, Norm, and I thank you, Brother Norm Edwards, who is here, who's always been a fighter, is not only how you spend the money, listen, it's also who you spend the money with. It's not just about how you spend money, but who are you spending money with? With this allocation, we should be able to create a new tax base, a new wealth base in this city. We want to do for Cleveland what Maynard Jackson did for Atlanta. And we have the power to do that, and we have the ability to do it. So we're going to have safer neighborhoods. We want to have better city services. And I give you my word, we are going to work with the institution that is most trusted by black people in this city, which is what? The black church. Let me be honest with you. The black church raised me. I used to live in the shelters of Cleveland, my family and I. And the blessing that I love about the black church, that they didn't ask me about my faith. They saw a hungry boy and they fed me. They didn't ask me about my faith. They saw a boy that needed clothes and they clothed me. And that is the reality that I want you to understand, that people will try to divide us, but only to conquer us. We will not be divided. We will stand on our faith and recognize that faith without works is dead. It has to be faith, and we have to work. So I say to you, to Councilman Joe Jones, I thank you. I thank you for having the courage and the backbone to stand up for what you know is right. Because you know that it's been very few people who have been more of a fighter like you have and like I have. I've been standing with you, standing by your side, and I thank you for having the courage to stand with me, brother. And to the pastors who are here, the clergy who is here, to our beautiful men and women who are here, I thank you. I thank you for having the courage to stand with me, because we recognize that in order for us to move forward, Grandma said, you can't make the same mistakes over and over again expecting different results. This is the definition of insanity. So if we want to move our city forward, we have to stand with this beautiful community. And I say to my West Side friends, to my East Side friends, that if we decrease the violence on the East Side, it will decrease the violence on the West Side. It is all connected. But the way that we decrease violence is by police presence, but also investing in more parks, investing in recreation centers, making sure our schools have the highest quality of equipment to produce children who are prepared to work in the 21st century. This is how we bring safer neighborhoods. Who we spend money with, Brother Norm Edwards, making sure that contractors are at the table. Let's stop fighting over crumbs and let's just bake a bigger pie. And that's what we're going to do under my administration. So I thank you so much. May God bless you. I thank you for your work. It's time to get to work. Let's get to work. Let's hit the streets, and let's get the people out to vote. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you.